Alright, hello YouTube. We are back on Tsunhearted's account. We are going to be checking out her account again and going through her Operation Siren fleets and things along those lines just once more. Just glancing at various different things on the account to see what's going on here. Now this may end up being a part 2 video instead of a part, like a whole video in of itself with the other part. So you either won't see this message or you might see this message. I don't know. UVH. So what this does is you have a preload shot, a staggered shot, and then another shot, right? Basically between the three of them. You have Kronk, so let's put Kronk here. She's good in the mob, so, and I'll explain my choices for each one, and, you know, chat will feel free to disagree with me, obviously, but, you know, I will explain all my choices. Itachi can be an option. Let me check this again real quick, because that's what I use, but that's more for, like, a manual play, I think. Creature ship fire, creature damage for burning enemies. Starts. Crit rates, crit damage. This wouldn't matter if you were going to also use Shimikaze, so let's not. Hello, YY. Welcome back. Welcome back. How are you doing today? Actually, Agito's Bane would actually work pretty well because she is also kind of tanky and does a decent amount of damage. Thing guns, get some damage, some blackouts, creates the ships. Evasion rate and the ship takes damage result type for the desert. I subscribe Prime Gaming. They've subscribed for 3 months. Yo, welcome back, YY. I already asked how you were doing, but now I'm gonna extra ask how you're doing. Thank you very much for the resubscribe. I appreciate that. Welcome, welcome. September indeed. September indeed. Two subs away from the goal of 20. Let's go. I mean, Jean does well too, just for survivability, but I think you have plenty of survivability. You need more damage. Rune is fine for the slow ramp up. Prepared for the event. I am currently preparing for the event. On the bottom screen, I am farming. I am thinking no Shiro because she has a specialization against carriers, which she'll be fighting against sometimes. 2360, so she's going to launch last. I'm setting, by the way, what I'm doing is I'm setting it up for boss. It's hard to tinker without upgrading. Agreed. Okay. This is a perfectly fine carrier fleet since you don't have Hakuryu. Alright, so over here, so here's my philosophy, mine, Agito's philosophy generally when it comes to Operation Siren. Okay? Your first fleet is your mob fleet and should be able to tackle every single type of enemy consistently. Your second fleet is your battleship boss fleet, which you set up usually for AP. Sometimes you change it to HE. That's just something you have to know ahead of time that you're going to change them for. Your third fleet is your massive carrier fleet that comes in with all the freaking planes and bombs and everything along those lines. And then fleet 4 is usually like cross fleet shit. So what I mean by that is I would put characters like Tosa, characters like Perseus, characters like Independence in this fleet, basically. That kind of stuff. Running out of usable characters? Yeah, you are. These are the ones you really need to level, basically, at this point. Another thing you can do with your last fleet, and this was a thing I picked up from I think it was Kibo, is make your if your main boss fleet here is AP, make for your battleships, make this last one related for the mob that spawns during strongholds that is a destroyer and has light armor. Already working on level them? I'm aware. I know. So this fleet here, like the reason you would have this here is because Akashi basically will heal all of the fleets every time you leave the area, which can help, right? Having Perseus over here means that every once in a while she will launch an extra barrage in someone else's fleet, which helps. And then obviously having Independence here can help as well. Now you could really change this up and throw Independence over here if you wanted. And then put UVH in the boss fleet instead of Bismarck's Y, since Bismarck's Y is not as leveled. Like, that's probably the better option, actually. is to throw UVH here and then put Independence here. It's probably the better option. That's probably the better option. Let's go with that. And then you could put Bismarck's Y. Then you can put Bismarck's Y down here as a cross fleet again. This fleet's basically this fourth fleet it's going to be a while before you're able to build this fourth fleet up effectively. These characters are just here because of the utility they provide. This is really nothing, honestly. These are the 3 fleets that matter. These ones right here. These 3 fleets. All right, let's put some gear on UVH. I do agree with the idea of putting the Yamato gun on UVH because it's very good on her. She doesn't need that, so we'll put this. I tried to build after the community guide thing as much as possible lately. No, that's not a bad choice. The community guide is a good guideline. I use it myself sometimes when I forget what gear does what. Yeah, meta ships is cool, but levels are OP. There's an innate boost just on level disparity. Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Levels are super, super important. Also, apparently I got another Chokai down here, so yay. Because quads are better than quints because of the spread. Even with their magnetic. So a quad will fire off or a quint will fire off like this, right? In a 5 spread. A quint fires like this in a 4 spread. So there's more likely that the 2 here will actually gravitate toward the target. Whereas with the spread like this, it's very unlikely that these 2 will actually ever hit a target. So you have more targets to hit. Now, that changes a little bit because of the way they change destroyer angles and stuff along those lines. But so I think quints are fine generally because they're still magnetic, but it's whatever. So on frontline characters, by the way, sometimes it's better to have AP guns, and the reason I say this is because when you're in a mob or you're doing some things, is AP shells go through targets and will hit the target behind them. So sometimes in a mob situation, AP shells can be better. And even in a boss, just to get to the boss faster, because you're clearing the trash quicker. So unless I'm specializing, I generally run AP on the front. Again, this is all just how I run things. But yeah, these 3 fleets should be able to clear your abyssals on your strongholds. This fleet doesn't matter. Ignore this last fleet here. This fleet doesn't matter. And look at your subs. But you do have the sub stuff on each of them. Oh, okay, you're good. You're good. You don't even need any more of that. That's good. I don't really care about their gear. Their gear doesn't matter because I'm never going to use that fleet. It's just these 3. Well, first, let's see if we can do a Siren coordinate. We don't need subs. Let's see if we even need subs. Auto battle, go boom. Now I realize some of your characters are a little under level, but it'll still be fun. Unfortunately, this is a destroyer one, so we will probably have to change the battleship fleet to HE damage, most likely. We'll see. Now, this is just your mob fleet, remember that. For mob fleet, they're slapping quite a bit already. Fleet composition is important. You also do have over 200 of every extra stat, right? So you're doing really good with that. You know, Shiro's gonna go down. That's fine. She's probably the least tanky of them all. I should probably just put the destroyer on the edge, honestly. Yeah, it's fine. It's for this boss. So. Well, the thing is, your FDG is like Fate Sim 5, if I remember correctly. So, I mean, you have all those cross fleet barrages. So, I've been farming Opside for like 2 days straight. Well, it shows. It absolutely shows. Your efforts are not in vain. Bates in 1. Okay, that's fine. Still, that was half of its HP. All done. Cool. So now we know that it has a weakness to battleships, so we'll go ahead and throw the battleships there. However, and this is, now I'm going to save this, but it's not going to save it for you. You have to do this on your own client, because these are saved client side, not, whatchamacallit side. Is there an HE? This one, right? It's really fast, though. That's fine. Now, this is a level 6 Abyssal, by the way, so I'd be really surprised if we can't beat it. Shimon just slapping 10 bars away with just preload. Yeah, that's kind of what Shimakaze does. She kind of just says, "You died to torpedoes now." And also remember, she's paired up with Yudachi in this, and Yudachi increases torpedo crit rate and crit damage and all that stuff, if I remember correctly, which is why I made this pairing. This is also your torpedo fleet, right? This is your battleship boss fleet, but it's also your torpedo fleet, because you have A-Gear's torpedoes, which slow the target and will fire first. And then you have Shimakaze and Yudachi's stuff, which will just do a ton of damage. I do know how to play Underling. Now, unfortunately, it's kind of a squishy front line a little bit there. So, if they get hit like that, they're probably going to go down. But the next fleet will definitely be able to finish this off. No problem. If these barrages right now don't finish it off first. Yeah, no, she died. She died before I could finish it off. That's fine. Yeah. It's all good. Cool. And then you just throw your last carrier fleet on there and you're done. Is level 6 Abyss the highest? Yes. And you generally do need about 150 in each stat to be able to do these. And they only get easier once you really level these characters. Yeah, about 200 in each stat makes it way easier for sure. Yeah, once you 125 them all, you'll be good. See? Done. And there you go. These 3 fleets can easily do at least this Abyss, and they weren't even tuned for this Abyss. I mean, this is like one of the more difficult ones because the Destroyer line, which is a lot of damage. Let's say if you're hard struggling, commit to 200 on each. I agree. There you go. You didn't get anything out of it. Nothing good. Anyways, but, you know, hey, there you go. Well, first we got to go do the Stronghold. The question is, can I do with this Stronghold what I do with mine? Which is just hit the auto and just let it go. Let's find out. Maybe get some better gear. Yeah. Gear is the biggest, the largest out of every sort of like problem in the game. Gear is the biggest gap between like a long time, like a player who's playing consistently and a player who's not. It is the hugest margin. It separates like the top tier of players from like the lowest tier by a massive amount, because gear does not come like super easy, honestly. unless you're playing constantly. Like if you're playing, like if you've been playing constantly, consistently every day, you should have a lot of gear and a lot of decent stuff. Every player needs a gear explanation video because sometimes the stats do not make sense. See, I would love to do that, but I know I'd get clowned on immediately because I don't understand it myself. I have a vague understanding, right, from the things that I've learned and researched and stuff all throughout the years, but I am not the number cruncher guy. I could not tell you coefficiencies and all that other stuff. All I can really tell you is what I've experienced. Because in my experience, and this is how I used to play in other games as well, is there are other people out there who are already going to crunch all the numbers for you. You take their data, you test it for yourself. If you have the same experience that they're saying you should have, then they're correct. If you don't have the same experience, you might want to keep looking at it until you either do or find out what you're doing wrong, because they're probably still right, and then obviously go from there. You know, if you enjoy something more or you find more success with something that's not on a spreadsheet or in a tier list or something along those lines, then you now have your own data and your own experience to go with. I don't know, maybe even just the very basics. I wouldn't mind doing something. I mean, if that's something that you guys are really interested in seeing from me, I mean, most of my viewership knows, but it could definitely probably bring in more viewership now that I think about it, if I did just like a basic gearing guide. Yeah, these are the generalizations that have been passed on a lot by frankly people who have been playing the game, well, a little bit longer than I have, who decided to do a lot of research into a lot of that stuff and give out pretty good advice. And generally speaking, that is good advice. Like, as much as people like want to, you know, smack talk about whoever and make statements about whatever, and, you know, how sweaty people are at the game, those sweaty players know what they're talking about. That's why they're the sweaty players. You know what I mean? So you might as well just listen to them. It's like, I make the content that I want to make. I like doing account reviews. I like helping people. Okay. All right, Tsun. We are almost cleared with this Operation Siren. We are on the last boss. The bait with all the Nagato art for the prelude and that mini event for the Ox. I was hoping for Nagato retro, but we got blue to purple, one that probably next to nobody will ever use. Fair. I have more cubes on my alt than my main now because of the comeback campaign. Same fleet, by the way, full HP. Yep. I did heal them a little bit, but I didn't have to heal them very much. Nachi retro is like the most bruh shit ever. It is what it is. I don't want to be that guy, but the 27 people out there who have Nachi as their main waifu in AL do be eating too good. Someone's a little salty that their waifu is not getting highlighted, I feel. Someone's just a wee little bit salty. Well, I don't think this fleet is going to win this fight. It did still do very good. Cleveland Retro would be awesome. I mean, it'd be okay. It'd be alright. 100% prog rate, yeah. She will be buzzing for real, for real. Give her a +1 AA gun. Bam. There you go. Soon. Stronghold complete. No problems whatsoever. Didn't even have to reset anything. We did have to use some healing boxes just to make sure, but that's what they're for. Done. It's light armor, so torpedoes don't do as much, but it's, yeah, whatever. Offside good again. Joke's on you, Ops. I was always good. Wow. Did you guys just see the barrage? The barrage of torpedoes just completely missed. It just completely missed because the auto had to go forward. That was terrible. That was so bad. Whew. That was terrible. Nothing as bad as OG Ops. Nope, nothing as bad. Yeah, there was originally no long-term input or any of that stuff. Alright, Tsun, let's test this fleet against that. We'll go ahead and we'll keep anchorage in there for the staying alive part. We'll go with that. Best thing is about to add it with the multi-run auto stuff for hard mode, normal mode for campaign, and other things. Can't remember. Honestly, forgot that it could happen. Ops execution is bad, but I still appreciate an endless mode of sorts for games like this. I agree, Code. I like genuinely, no joke, non-cap. I do like Operation Siren. It's just it's taken a long time to actually really mold itself, which is fine. Like the raid events too. Glad that Manju knows how to please us. They do. They do. Even less clicking. That was atrocious where they made you do a multi-run. Yep, for real, I'm waiting for AL to turn at the AFK arena playing itself, maybe. But nowadays with oil cap, it feels like even regular maps are in endless mode since oil drain isn't as big anymore. Correct. You can play Azur Lane every day, all day, if you wanted to. I'm not saying you should, but you could. Not bad. 500k is not bad. You'll be ready for the next exchange shop. Now I guess the only thing we haven't done is because you're still on the story, so you haven't unlocked them yet, but is the middle boss. So you still have to finish unlocking the rest of the story in order to get to the middle boss in the middle to do the Siren bosses. But I wouldn't worry about that at the moment. I would just focus on other stuff, getting your gold done, everything along those lines. I mean, I would finish your story and see if you can tackle it, but you only have 3 fleets. You'll probably be able to complete the normal mode, but you might not be able to complete the hard mode. With that in mind, that's going to be the end of this account assistance with Operation Siren. Again, I don't know if this is going to be a part 2 or if this is going to be included in the original account review. Either way, I hope you enjoyed that, and if you enjoyed it, please feel free to leave a like and subscribe, and I will catch you guys next time. Later.